It is in keeping with tradition throughout our history that I should express simply and directly the opinions which I hold concerning some of the matters of present importance. Herbert Hoover, Inaugural Address, Monday, March 4th, 1929. This video is a response to Catrific, who recently took a personality test. Link to her video below, and to the personality test that I took. These are my results. I am an ISTJ. ISTJ stands for introverted, sensing, thinking, judging. That is my personality, and this test that I took is actually quite accurate for me. I thought it hit everything on the nail. ISTJs are often called inspectors because we pay attention to detail. We have a keen sense of right and wrong, especially in our area of responsibility. We have a devotion to duty, and we're most always punctual. We are hardly ever late, and that really applies to me. I hate being late. I prefer to be early if I can. ISTJs have the impression of being somewhat aloof, cold-hearted, or just cold, emotionally cold. When ISTJs do things, they have a step-by-step approach. They like to have things in a certain order, and that's definitely me. There has to be a process to do things. And ISTJs generally don't like change. However, if we have to try a new way of doing something, it proves out to work, then that is the new standard. That is how we'll always do it. But in general, we don't like to change that much. ISTJs are generally not very happy with the inconsistencies of others, especially when others aren't pulling their weight, their part of the bargain. And that so applies to me, especially at work. I get frustrated when I'm working and other people aren't, I guess. That is part of my ISTJ personality flaw, you can say. The I stands for introverted, and I definitely am introverted. I prefer not to go out. I would rather stay in. I don't like being around large crowds, which is weird because I like going to New York. I don't know why, but I never really liked crowds. Even when I would go to Hofla at the hippie shack, I used to just sit around and watch. I never really interacted that much. The S in ISTJ stands for sensing. It says I have a moderate preference of sensing over intuition. I prefer definitely to have the facts. I prefer to see it with my own eyes. I prefer to experience it. There's that common phrase, pigs or it didn't happen. That is me. A lot of times when I'm debating somebody, I will ask them, you have to come up with a proof for me. What are your sources? Where did you get this information? Give me some sort of proof. That's how I see the world. I need proof of that the world exists, I guess. I don't use intuition. I prefer facts and experiencing and sensing with my five senses. The T in ISTJ stands for thinking. I do think a lot. It says I have a moderate preference of thinking over feeling. Sorry, I'm looking down at this a lot. But I do tend to analyze things, and most of the time I'm overanalyzing things like big time. I don't go by the seat of my pants. I don't like to be spontaneous, really. I like to plan things. This is being filmed on Wednesday. I've already got my next weekend planned. I already know everything I'm doing. And the J in ISTJ stands for judging. This says I have a moderate preference of judging over perceiving. I do judge things quite a bit, but I'm not really sure what that means, judging over perceiving. Some famous ISTJ people, presidents: George Washington, Benjamin Harrison, and George H.W. Bush were all ISTJs. So you can be president if you're an ISTJ. However, you're not really that good of a one. And also, as far as fictional characters, Joe Ferretti from Dragnet is probably an ISTJ. Big thank you to Catrific for putting up her video. It was very interesting. So tell me, leave a comment or a video response. Take the personality test down below. I'm going to link it in the doobly-doo. Let me know, what is your personality like? What's your personality type? That is all. Bye for now. I guess I tend to think about things before I make a final decision on them. Such as that airplane that is totally ruining my video right now. I am judging you, airplane! And this is probably the best part of this whole video.